Hey everyone, I'm Liz Fairy and today I'm going to show you how to add a beard to a crochet doll using yarn. Some things you'll need for this tutorial are a crochet hook. You can use pretty much any size, I'll be using a size E. A pair of scissors. Of course you'll need a doll to add the beard to. For a basic doll tutorial, click the link at the top of the screen or check in the description below. And you'll need yarn to make up the doll's beard. If you like, you could use thread or embroidery floss too. The easiest way to do this is with thread because you won't have to worry about separating the strands, but I'm going to show you using yarn. You could use any color or brand of yarn you choose, but I'll be using white Aran weight yarn from Red Heart brand. You'll also need something the same length as the hairs you want to create that you can wrap your yarn around to make sure all the strands are of equal lengths. I'll be using this piece of cardboard that I cut to the right length. I cut mine to about 3 inches. And if you like, you can use a brush or a comb to brush out the yarn when you're finished to give it a more realistic look. So now that I've cut my cardboard to size, I'm going to begin to cut my strands. So I'm going to wrap my yarn around the cardboard. For now I'm going to wrap 10 times. Then I'm going to cut through all the strands at the top side of the cardboard. And now I have 10 strands. I repeated this a couple of times until I had a total of 28 strands. If you're using multiple colors, you should cut a bunch of strands of each color. If you're using thread, you should cut enough individual threads to make each bunch of hairs with at least 8 threads per bunch, to make the hair look thicker. Alright, now that I've cut my strands of yarn, I'm going to separate the individual strands from the yarn. Each strand will be made up of 4 individual strands. So I'm going to take the first strand of yarn and separate the individual strands by twisting the yarn. And I'm going to do this for every strand of yarn. If you're using multiple colors to make your doll's beard, separate all the individual strands of every color, then take a few strands of each color, and add them each to one bunch of hair until all the strands are used up to create multicolored bunches of hair. So I finished making my bunches of hairs. Now I'm going to begin adding them to my doll. I'm going to start by adding hairs along the bottom edge of the face. I'm going to add 5 hairs along the chin area. I'll start at the very middle. So I'm going to take one of my hair bunches and my hook, and I'm going to insert my hook into the area at the bottom of the face, at the middle. Place your beard hairs at the height you want the beard to start. You can start yours wherever you like, it depends on how thick you want the beard to be. Now I'm going to take the bunch of hair from the middle and pull up a loop of the hair bunch through the stitches of the doll's face. Then I'm going to chain 1 and pull the 2 ends of the hair bunch through the loop. Then tighten the loop by pulling on those loose ends. I'll show you that again with my next strand. So pull up a loop next to the first hair, chain 1, pull the ends through the loop, and pull to tighten. So I'm going to continue doing that with every bunch of hair that I just made. I'm going to add 3 more hairs. 1 more to this side, and 2 more on the other side of the hair I placed in the middle. If you want your doll's beard to be thicker, add more hair bunches in front of or behind the first row of beard hairs. I added a row behind the first one of 5 hair bunches to thicken my doll's beard. Next, I'm going to create a mustache for the doll. I'm going to do this the same way, except this time I'm going to add hair bunches in a straight line across where the nose of the doll would be. I'm going to place 5 hair bunches on each side of the face. Once again, I'll start at the middle. If you want a narrower mustache for your doll, you could place fewer than 5 per side. And again, to thicken the mustache, add more rows of hairs behind the first row. But I'm not going to do that for this doll. Once you're done adding the mustache, you could trim it to a shorter length if you want, or you could leave it as it is. I'm just going to leave this mustache at this length for my doll. Now I want to add some hairs to the sides of the face, to add sideburns. If you want, you don't need to add any hair to the sides, if you don't want a doll with sideburns, but I'm going to add 4 hair bunches along each side of the face. And again, you could thicken the sideburns if you want to, but I'm not going to do that for this doll. And then I'm going to brush out the yarn next, just to give the hairs a more realistic look. You don't have to do this if you want to keep the yarn texture for your doll's beard. And here's what it'll look like when it's finished. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you did, give it a like or share it on social media. If you want to see how to curl the yarn for your doll's beard, check out my curly yarn doll hair tutorial by clicking the link at the end of the video. If you want to see more basic doll tutorials, you can find a playlist at the end of this video or check in the description below. If you want to help support me in making new videos, donate to my Patreon. It's entirely optional, but if you do, you can get some perks, like having access to my videos a week before they're posted here on YouTube. Find more information about that at patreon.com/fairyrings. And if you'd like to see more tutorials like this in the future, subscribe to my channel and I'll see you all next time. Bye!